Hi, welcome to the 2023 Kentucky TSA State Conference Judges webinar. I'm Mark Harrell, the Kentucky State Advisor, and you may have had contact already with Andy Stevenson, who is our state coordinator. First of all, thank you for taking the time to judge and help us build the future STEM workforce for the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Wanted to go through just a real quick information sheet. This will be emailed to you as well, but just wanted to walk through some of the new things that we're doing this year compared to maybe years past if you've judged for us before. First and foremost, we are moving to electronic judging, so no more paper rubrics. Everything will be online. We do ask if you can to either bring a laptop or a tablet so you can access electronic judging via a system called Judge Pro. If not, we will have loaner devices, laptops that you can check out from the registration desk when you arrive on either April 10th or April 11th. If you're doing online judging for us, again, thank you. That will happen the week and a half before conference, and details will be sent via Andy Stevenson on how to access online judging and electronic submissions. Wanted to walk through this document, as I mentioned. We will have registration, so when you arrive on site at the Downtown Marriott in Louisville, please make your way to Ballroom X, which is upstairs. There's a parking map as well as a map for the hotel on page 2 of this document that I'll get to here in a second. When you arrive, you'll get a badge for judging, so people know who you are and why you're there. You'll receive a map so you know how to get to the room where you're judging, a small little token of appreciation, a gift. And then when you leave, after you've completed judging each day, if you happen to be judging both days for us, you'll have to come back to the registration desk, drop your badge back off. If you checked out a laptop, you'll turn that back in, and then you'll receive your parking voucher as well. So make sure that you make your way back to registration after you conclude your judging so you can get your parking voucher to be able to exit the parking garage with no cost. Make sure you arrive at least 15 minutes before your event. That way you can get to registration, check in, find where you need to go, locate the nearest restroom, etc. And then your event coordinator will also meet you in that room. They'll have all the materials that you need, anything that's needed for the event that you happen to be judging. And then again, all scores will be submitted electronically this year, and the coordinators will be able to help you with that system as well. I'm going to walk you through just what it looks like here in a minute so you can understand that. One thing that we do ask when you're conferring with other judges is try to be consistent in your scoring. We want these students to be able to use your feedback from our state conference in order to prepare for the national conference, which is actually being held in Louisville, Kentucky at the end of June. We hope you can come back and help judge at that event as well. More details will be sent following our state conference. So work with your judges. Try to get within 10 points of each other. That way students can make sure that they know that the feedback is going to be very helpful for them to prepare for the national conference. We do modify some events from the national guidelines that were sent, just simply because of time or logistics or both. So make sure you look at the event modification guide, which is linked here. It'll help you understand if we've made any modifications from the national event guides to the state level that we're running. I'll walk through a competition guide, but do know all of this information is within the guide. So there's an overview, there's an eligibility, there are time limits. There is attire listed. Our attire does vary from the national conference, so make sure you look at our modified dress code, which is on page 3 of this document. They're going to walk you through what the procedure is for the event, the regulations and requirements, any evaluations, which is going to be the rubric. And then also, if your career is related to the event that you're judging, please make sure students understand that what they're doing in these competitions at the middle school and or high school level are applicable to the real world. So help them understand what your career is, how it relates to this competition. We do want to make sure that students understand that we are trying to prepare them for careers that are viable for them in the future. When you go through the rubric, again, this will be online this year, there is still going to be go, no go at the top. I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a minute. If something is missing, if a student did not submit something that's listed in the go, no go section, it's an automatic disqualification. You would simply check event not evaluated and move on to the next submission. I'm going to show you also the criteria multipliers and what that means here in a minute. And then if you have rules violations, it does need to be initialed by you, the judge, as well as the coordinator and the manager. So it will be brought back to headquarters and just say, you know, the student was not dressed in the appropriate attire, they receive a rules violation, or they did not have a certain piece to their portfolio, and therefore there's a rules violation, and then we'll just approve that. A lot of our events are moving to online submission, but if they do have to have a portfolio submitted on site, it does have to be in a clear portfolio cover like you see here on the screen. Otherwise, that's going to be a rules violation as well. Checkout, again, once you check out, you're going to come back to registration. The coordinator is going to bring back all their materials. They're going to come back and talk to our judges coordinator, make sure that the system brought in all the scores correctly before they leave, and you'll tally all the rubrics in the system as well. So before you check out and head out, make sure all that is done. You'll turn your badge back in, and then you can grab your parking voucher so you don't have to pay when you leave the parking garage. Logistics, we are at the Louisville Marriott downtown on Jefferson Street this year. Parking is located next door in the Commonwealth Garage. There is a pedway that connects the two so you don't have to walk outside. Go ahead and take the voucher when you enter the parking garage. Come do your judging over here in the Louisville Marriott. Grab your parking voucher, and then when you walk out and check out of the parking garage, you'll be able to do that no problem. Here is the conference attire that I mentioned. So we require students to be in at least business casual for competitions. The only exception to that is the chapter team competition. Those students should be in official attire like you see in this picture, except for they could wear white button downs instead of the official blue TSA shirt. Otherwise, students, when they're competing, should be in the room in a polo shirt or a blouse or a button-down shirt. They do not have to match as a team if it's a team event, again, except for chapter team. Pants or skirts are acceptable, black, gray, or khaki. They should have dress shoes on and dark socks or hosiery. And then here's a hotel map that you'll have access to. So again, check-in is going to be up here in Marriott Ballroom 10. The pedway comes straight across on the second floor, so you just simply come over here, check in. And then you may have an event that either occurs on the second floor or the first floor that you see here. So we're happy to help you get to where you need to be. Again, that's why we ask you to get there 15 minutes before, just so you can find your room, find a restroom if you need it. So let's talk about, finally, Judge Pro and what that looks like. So we will send you a link, a username and a password that will be automatically generated for you. And you simply go to that link and log into the system. And then when you get in, you're going to see all of your events listed. And then you'll just come over here and simply select those events to start judging. So let me jump over to a fake. So this is, I logged in as a judge. I have one event assigned to me, which is board game design. And so I can simply select that, and you'll see I've created a fake student in here. And this is what it will look like when you log in to judge a student. So if they had to attach any files, they'll be attached in this section. So you can see when I click on that, it downloads a PDF. This is their board game portfolio that I'm going to be judging, so I can pull this up on a separate screen as I'm going through the rubric. So again, first things first, go, no go. For this particular event, we're actually doing online submissions, so they did submit their portfolio. I showed you that. So I just want to check that to make sure that I know. I'm going to skip over packaging and board game because they don't actually do that until they get on site. And then here's where I'll start judging. So did they have all the components? And I'm going to give them a score over here of, let's say, 7. For the overview of the game, I'm going to give them a 6. They got an 8 here, so on and so on. It's automatically going to tabulate scores as I go. Do pay attention to the multipliers. All these happen to be ×1. But if you look, well, this is a bad example. None of these have anything higher than ×1. But if one of these was ×2, you just want to make sure that you do that correctly over here. We don't judge the demonstration interview until they arrive, so that one I'm not going to do either because this is an online. And I'm going to put some notes down here just helping this team understand that they need to have better portfolio components submitted, etc. So always give students comments and feedback, both constructive and praise, so they can use that to their advantage as they prepare for the national conference. Once I'm happy with what I've judged, again, you may not judge the entire thing when we give it to you. There may be multiple phases. So you can just simply come down here and click Save Evaluation. And now that is ready to go until it's complete. So that's kind of explained in this documentation. Once you've finished all your evaluations, then you can actually click Submit Evaluations at the top of the screen. Do not do this if you're not complete, but once you've completed all of your judging that's been assigned to you, you can click this Submit Event Evaluation, confirm that you've judged everything that you needed to, and that's it. It'll then come to us, and then we can use that to tabulate scores for the first, second, and third place entries. Some events you may not have a PDF that's submitted, so they may be walking into the room and dropping off something or submitting a USB with a video or a portfolio in person. So do understand your event. If it's an online, it's going to have attachments. If it's not online, more than likely they're going to walk into a room and drop off things to the coordinator, and then the coordinator will organize those and get those to you. However, you will still use the online judging system, regardless if it's an online submission or an in-person submission. So if they're doing a presentation, for example, you'll pull up the rubric in the online system, judge it as you go down through there, and then, again, submit event evaluations at the top once you're done with the entire event. If you have questions, Andy and I are both available. Our phone numbers, cell phone numbers, feel free to call or text, are up here at the top of this document that we'll send you, as well as our email addresses so you can get a hold of us and run by anything that maybe causes confusion before the event or even during the event. So one last thing to note, we want to make sure that we have no ties in the top 3 positions. We want to make sure we clearly have a first, second, and third place entry, either an individual or team event. So please work with your coordinator, come up with a way to break ties if needed, and that way we make sure that we can award our plaques and medals to students and teams. We truly appreciate you judging online and or in person on April 10th and 11th, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.